It's been days since Danny disappeared, and oystermen are just now starting to feel his effects. I'm Carolyn Day. I'll bring you that story coming up.
And the Mobile Archdiocese remembers one of its own. We'll look at the services for Monsignor Oliver Adams.
Plus, what kind of environmental impact is Danny having here on the Gulf Coast? The answer in a live report straight ahead.
Finally, some sunshine. We'll have your weekend forecast.
And Lance will have highlights. It's all next here on Fox 10.
Tonight at 6 p.m. on Fox 10 Action News.
Are you safe in your car? You may not be as long as a suspected carjacker is roaming the streets, but you can help by watching tonight's FBI files. And Hurricane Danny left many of you homeless. You want quick relief, but you seem to be playing a waiting game. Kavita Tamalo follows an insurance adjuster who just might be able to explain what's causing those delays.
Tonight at 6 on Fox 10 Action News. You're watching WALA Fox 10, bringing you more news more often. Now, from the #1 news station on the Gulf Coast, this is Fox 10 Action News, live at 5 p.m.
Investigators believe this neighborhood was the site of 2 vicious attacks. Renee Dials reports in a few minutes.
You've seen the damage inland. Tonight we go on the water to take a look at what Danny did to wildlife. Damage that could hit your pocketbook and your plate soon. Hi everyone, I'm Bob Brick.
And I'm Nancy Pierce. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Here on the Gulf Coast, we live or die by the water. It drives our economy and it feeds our families. Tonight, Alabama's shellfish waters are closed. Bad news for both who love to eat shellfish and the families who harvest them. Carolyn Day reports from Dauphin Island on Danny's lasting effects on the oyster business.
You can usually find big business here on the boats at Heron Bay Cutoff.
Yeah, good on the cracker right there.
But closed waters will keep Randy Hall and other oystermen like him off the reefs for now.
Oysters like farmland. You got to farm it or it'll die out.
Some of the oysters will simply die from too much fresh water, thanks to Danny. Hall and a few others caught these oysters before Cedar Point Reef closed.
Ain't nothing wrong with them oysters.
Selling the few they found to Charlie Beach.
They got a lot less than 50% of what they usually get.
It doesn't take much to figure out fewer oysters means a lot less money. On a good day, an oysterman like Hall could fill about 10 of these bags. That would make him about $130. Today, he made about half that much. With waters now closed, Beach knows the numbers just won't add up.
My biggest concern, it'll stop all the money flow in this part of the county. And, I mean, it'll hurt the oystermen, the storekeepers. It will hurt everybody.
Steve Heath with the Conservation Department admits until his divers get in the water, he can't tell how much damage Danny caused.
They'll die from being smothered by the mud or actually crushed by the wave action over the reef or just died from the trauma of being pounded by the surge from the storm.
For now, these harvesters savor the last few bags of oysters they'll see for a while, hoping these vacant boats will boom with business again soon. In Dauphin Island, Carolyn Day, Fox 10 Action News.
While state and local authorities are testing public waterways, it's up to you to test your private water supply.
If you have a private well, you need to stop by the health department and pick up one of these kits that has sample bottles and forms explaining how to take test samples.
Now, until you get your test back, you'll need to purify your well water yourself. You can either do that by boiling it for 3 to 5 minutes, or you can use a household bleach like this one.
It takes about 16 drops of bleach for every gallon of water, so you'll also need a dropper. Once you put the bleach in, stir the water up, let it stand for half an hour. Well, for days, volunteers have been trying to get people back on their feet, providing the basics: food, water, shelter.
But there are other jobs for them. Just take a look at these guys. Hunter Heath and Chase Lund have been conducting their own volunteer effort here on Dauphin Island for the last 3 days, helping neighbors clean their yards. The Salvation Army tells us they've even temporarily run out of many cleaning supplies because of the demand, but more are on the way. The Red Cross is setting up a semi-permanent help station at the Foley Armory and another at the Engineers Union on Spring Hill Avenue. And the folks hit hard by Danny around Fish River are trying to get life back to normal. Many, like Butch Wilkes, who lost their cars and their homes, are still waiting for insurance adjusters to check out their damage. Some lucky folks are beginning to see checks from their agents. Fox 10's Kavita Tamala will have important insurance information for you coming up tonight at 6 o'clock. And Danny's not done yet. Take a look at this. Heavy rains in Charlotte, North Carolina caused this train trestle to give way just like that, sending 5 cars plunging into a creek.
10 inches of rain have already fallen and more is expected.
The FBI steps up its nationwide search for Andrew Cunanan after 2 reported sightings.
We'll tell you where people believe they saw him and where he may be headed now. Plus,
a Baldwin County couple charged with raping a 15-year-old girl appears in court today. I'm Renee Dowles, and I'll have that story coming up on Fox 10 Action News.
A Fairhope couple charged with raping a 15-year-old girl was in court today. The couple was arrested following a violent confrontation with one of their neighbors this week. Fox 10's Renee Dowles joins us live from the newsroom with details on this case. Renee?
Well, Nancy, Ronald and Shirley Sherman are in the Baldwin County Jail tonight under bonds totaling nearly $200,000. The suspects, the victim, and the woman accused of attacking Sherman in his trailer home are all neighbors.
29-year-old Ronald Sherman and 25-year-old Shirley Sherman were in court for a bond hearing today. Sherman is charged with the second-degree rape of a 15-year-old girl and possession of obscene material in the form of 3 nude pictures of the girl. Authorities say Sherman's wife also had sex with the child. She is charged with first-degree assault. The alleged rape was reported to Fairhope police on Monday. 2 of Sherman's neighbors told police Sherman had had sex with their daughters. While officers were interviewing one of the mothers, the second woman left the police station and went to Sherman's home, where she reportedly stabbed him several times in the groin, arm, and leg.
And we had no knowledge that she was going to go out there. She just left here, and next thing we know, we got a 911 call to respond to a stabbing.
33-year-old Catherine Henry was arrested moments after the attack. She's charged with first-degree assault. Residents in the Greeno Road Mobile Home Park say they were stunned to learn about the crimes now facing their neighbors.
I thought they were a young couple that was having a few problems, you know, money-wise, but I never thought nothing like this. And Joy, the lady that did it, she should have just left it alone. She should have, when she went to the police department, she should have just come home and let the police handle it.
Sherman was arrested after his release from the hospital. He is also charged with possession of marijuana and writing a bad check. Mrs. Sherman is facing additional charges for 6 bad checks and a parole violation.
Investigators say all of the charges, including possibly additional charges involving the Shermans, will go to the grand jury next week. Nancy?
Renee, what additional charges could be brought in this case?
Well, police say they have not yet interviewed Miss Henry's 13-year-old daughter because she's out of town. Now, after they've talked to her, they say other charges could be brought on, or could be on the way.
All right, thanks, Renee. Bob?
Hundreds filled St. Catherine's Church in Mobile this morning to pay their respects to Monsignor Oliver Adams. Bagpipes and an honor guard from Mobile Fire Rescue showed their esteem for Monsignor Adams, who died Monday morning after suffering a stroke. Adams was the department's Catholic chaplain for more than 23 years. Archbishop Oscar Lipscomb was the celebrant of the funeral mass, joined by dozens of area priests and the faithful. Monsignor Adams, who had been a priest for 43 years, was 68 years old.
The FBI is investigating 2 reported sightings of accused serial killer Andrew Cunanan tonight. A store clerk in Lebanon, New Hampshire, believed he saw Cunanan in his store yesterday. 8 hours later, 2 more sightings in Claremont, about 30 kilometers away. The gay community in San Diego is also on the lookout. Some believe Cunanan may attend a gay pride rally there this weekend. Deliberations are underway in the case of Autumn Jackson, the woman accused of trying to extort $40 million from Bill Cosby. Jackson claims Cosby is her father. Before giving the case to the jury, the judge reiterated that the question of whether Cosby is the defendant's father is irrelevant to the case. The jury began deliberating before noon. Time to talk with John Ed about weather. We saw some sunshine.
John Ed is back.
Yes,
it's usually
welcome
bad
back.
weather when I'm here. I hope there's no bad weather out there, I tell you. I got a busted thumb from hammering on the roof, and we've got the forecast coming up next.
House Calls on Fox 10 Action News is brought to you by Mobile Infirmary Medical Center.
Now, Fox 10 Action News at 5 p.m. continues.
Teams of adjusters, assessors, and contractors are still hard at work on the Gulf Coast tonight.
From roadways to waterways, there's still a lot to be done. But cleanup isn't limited to homes and businesses. The environment also took a hit. Fox 10's Krista Marino worked today with the Alabama Environmental Management Team looking at possible sites of possible pollution. Krista, what did you see?
That's right, Bob. Well, all I can see now is sunshine, and you know, I am breathing a sigh of relief. That's the good news out here for those of us who've been waterlogged for days. And it's also good news for the Alabama Department of Environmental Management. You see, sunlight actually breaks down gas and oil slicks on the water. And wait, if you could take a look out here, although this water looks crystal clear, in many parts of Baldwin and Mobile County, the water is brown, the water is slick, and in many cases dangerous. It's his job to protect the environment, and Bruce Freeman has a lot of work ahead of him, tracking trouble caused by Danny, trouble in the form of gasoline, diesel fuel, propane, even pesticide.
There's a lot of mess all up and down the river. It's quite apparent, and there's going to be a lot of things that we never get to.
First stop, Marlow, where Freeman gets a report of a pest control truck submerged in water.
They only had maybe a couple of gallons of chemicals on the trucks at the time. It's very insignificant, but we did get a report, so I'm documenting that.
Although the truck is gone, Freeman marks the location of contamination with his global positioning satellite system. Residents of Fish River say they've got plenty for Freeman to document.
Oh, well, there's a bunch of propane tanks down on the road that busted through some of the fences down there, and lots of them come on down, and they've hauling them off and shutting them off, draining them. And they said they was coming down to get mine later on today.
Second stop, River Pack Marina, where at least 7 boats went under. Freeman checks for loose gas tanks, oil slicks, and debris.
We do have the propane tanks that are free and flowing somewhere that we're trying to find. The Coast Guard is actively looking for those. We're trying to assess any drums that might be floating and see if they're full of water or if they actually have any oil or chemicals in them.
Fierce floods tossed oil drums and propane tanks like tin cans. But Freeman says this area was lucky. Although there were several submerged boats and cars, the damage so far is minimal. The Bon Secours Wildlife Refuge is another story. This 199-ton ferry, a runaway from Dauphin Island, is wreaking havoc on the marsh. Although the 800 gallons of fuel are intact, a 4 feet deep, 50-foot wide channel will have to be cut to get it out. Until then, Freeman continues his 8-county trek of the coast, looking for more contaminants, courtesy Hurricane Danny. Freeman just left the Gulf Coast. He's continuing his trek looking for contaminants. He tells me the biggest threat right now is that beached ferry out there on the marsh. Right now, ADEM is actually going to get a private contractor to come in and take it out. But, of course, they have to apply for a permit to do that. And ADEM tells me that that permit will require them to put the marsh back in exactly as they found it. Another warning tonight for boaters. ADEM wants to make it very clear that there's lots of debris still in the water. A boater combined with a propane tank or oil drum is not a good combination. Now, of course, another environmental hazard we've been talking about is the sand and sand erosion, what it's done out here on the beach. Carol Hunter joins me live to explain this one.
Of course, Krista, both man and machine will be working overtime to repair and replace the damage caused by Danny. But one thing that won't be rearranged is the sand dune system here along Gulf Shores. The Gulf Shore City Council met in special session earlier this week and passed an ordinance which says that none of the sand dunes nor the beach sand can be removed without a written permit from the city. And that includes any sand that might have been relocated by the wind or the rain. Now, remember, even if you get a permit, you'll have to replace the sand that you move and use it to replenish the beach. Now, the sand, of course, a big concern to all of us who love the beach, but many of the homeowners down here are facing a much bigger concern. I'm going to walk over here and let Wade pan past me up to a scene that is being repeated over and over and over again along the beach. Homeowners have roofers in. A lot of them are doing the work themselves, trying to do anything they can to get their houses watertight before the rains come again. Now, we'll have a full report coming up at 6 o'clock and show you what other folks are trying to do to repair the damage, get back on their feet. Back to you.
Okay. Okay, Carol, are there still any restrictions about driving along the beach? I know that police had been stopping folks at West 13th Street, but I think that's lifted. Is that right?
You can drive along the beach now, Bob. We've seen like some emergency vehicles actually on the beach. We haven't seen much traffic at all, but the roads here are clear. Obviously, people able to make their way up and down the beach. But right now, the big concern is what did Danny do? How much sand is gone? As the waters are beginning to recede, we're seeing our familiar beachfront again. And the folks at Gulf Shore just want to remind you, if you don't like the way Danny has rearranged your dunes, just wait. Nature will take care of it again.
All right, thanks. Carol Hunter reporting live from Gulf Shores.
That is a pretty sight.
I hope they get some
Sunshine.
of that roofing done, at least in the next few minutes, because I can hear thunder in downtown Mobile. I hope that's not headed to Gulf
I
Shores.
do too. Was that thunder? Maybe it was somebody repairing our roof, which I don't think sustained any damage. But let's check in with John Ed and find out what's going on. John Ed.
Yeah, I heard some thunder too. I think it was right over our head. The thunder is preceding the rain because the rain is moving in. You can see on Storm Track 10 radar, we've got some showers in Baldwin County, some showers coming across the Mississippi line up into the Wilmer-Sims area, and some scattered heavy showers over around coastal Mississippi. And with the thunder and the cloudiness, guess what the temperature is right now? Last hour, it was 91 degrees. Right now, down to 76. How about that for a drop in a 1 hour swing? 87% humidity. West winds are blowing at 6 miles per hour, 29.99. The barometer is on the way up for right now compared to last hour. But look at the scattered rain showers. We're looking at it from Pensacola into Baldwin County. Some scattered afternoon thunderstorms popping up, but not a lot of them, just hit and miss thunderstorms out there right now. This is what's been going on. You already had a system in effect in the Carolinas producing rain showers over Charlotte, North Carolina. Then you had Danny slowly but surely track out of Georgia on into South Carolina, and Danny's just going to add to the rainfall they're already getting in the Carolinas, and we're going to finally start getting just those afternoon thunderstorms lining up across Mississippi and the coastal area of Alabama. Some scattered showers out west across the Rockies and some clear skies up here around Minnesota. Here's where the map was today with a cold front here, and this is Danny, that low right there, and Danny is going to track slowly in the next 24 hours into the mid-Atlantic seaboard. We'll have a trough of low pressure across northern Alabama. High pressure is going to start influencing our weather, so we're looking for spotty thunderstorms tonight, otherwise partly cloudy skies, and the overnight low is going to be around 74 or 75. And here's our forecast for tomorrow. Summer sunshine for part of the day, and for the rest of the day, some scattered afternoon thunderstorms. The chance of rain is 40% tomorrow, high tomorrow about 92. And let's look at the weather picture for today. It's by Kristen Pry. Kristen lives out in West Mobile. A great picture, and we'll have a winner on Friday in our Color of the Weather for McDonald's.
All right, thank you, John Ed. I hope things aren't stormy for the Saints.
No, let's hope not.
Well, things are. Let me tell you this. If you're a tight end or a defensive back, grab a helmet, get up to lacrosse. They're hurting right now, and they need some bodies. And the Braves playing again this afternoon at Wrigley Field. We've got the highlights. Stay with us. Well, just a week into training camp, and the Saints are already looking for healthy bodies. They're down to just 4 cornerbacks, and that's not enough to even work the nickel packages in practice. And they're down to just 2 tight ends. Rookie Nicky Savoie went down with a bruised sternum, leaving just Irv Smith and former Alabama star Tony Johnson available to practice. Ditka says he may have to bring in another tight end if Savoie doesn't get hurt better in a hurry. Boy, did anyone need a win more than the Bay Bears last night. Coming off that 4-game sweep up in Greenville, the Bears bounced back in a big way last night at home against Carolina. First, the defense. Look at Juan Melo go up, make the grab, turn around, and double off the runner at second. It was scoreless into the second. Watch this. This is the Mudcats' Freddie Garcia, and watch where this ball lands. Boy, Freddie Garcia looking like Freddie Krueger to Ryan Vanderweg, the pitcher there. 1-0 Carolina. Tied at 1 in the fourth. Tim Killeen showing some muscle as he takes it out for a solo shot, and that gives the Bears the lead 2-1. Killeen had 3 hits. Rich Hills also 3 hits last night, including a homer. To lead off the 6th inning, Bears win at 7-2, breaking their 4-game slide. Same 2 teams tonight at 7:05. The Braves and Cubs already have it in the books. Wrigley Field is where it happened. Let's take you to the highlights. Bobby Cox, his team just 500 since the All-Star break. Kevin Tapani going for the Cubs. K's Michael Tucker. Then we move ahead to the 4th. Man on for Sammy Sosa, and Sammy goes a gap, and Brian McRae will score all the way from first base. And that breaks the scoring seals. The Cubs led it 1-0, but Chicago not through. The next batter, Mark Grace doubles down the line. Sosa will come in to make a 2-zip, 3-1. Cubs beat the Braves. And again, Braves under 500 since the All-Star break. Quickly to the board, a couple of other games going on. San Francisco pounding Philadelphia in the 6th. The other action in the American League, Detroit over Chicago, and the Yankees double up Anaheim. Braves a little bit of trouble.
They sure are.
I mean, they're still in first place,
Yeah.
but you'd like to be playing a little better.
A little better.
Yeah, a little slump.
Be right back. Anissa Centers joins us now with a look at what's ahead here on Fox 10. Anissa?
Thank you, Bob. Tonight at 6, Kavita Tamala will tell you what you need to know before the insurance adjusters make it to your house. Bob?
All right. Thanks, Anissa.
It is a tough life, coping with the sun and flies and all sorts of things.
But these cows have it made. A Japanese farmer turned an old hay baler into an automatic cow back scratcher. No word yet whether the device is improving productivity on the farm.
But the cows sure seem to like it.
They're milking it for all it's worth.
They are. I think, isn't that a good idea?
Oh, I like that.
I do too.
I think you can do that for humans.
Maybe. You know, those cows are happy. I bet they will do much better.
Could see it on their faces.
We're out of time for now. Stay tuned for Jeopardy.
Fox 10 Action News at 6 p.m. after that.
You have a great time.